when I saw that, somebody actually somebody tagged me, and then I saw this post. I do think that he is on something, right? Definitely. The fractal looks quite close to what happened to last year. When the Roaring Kitty comes back, and I know there's a lot of arguments or some sort of a discussion happening how Roaring Kitty is not. Yeah, but you never know. But my conspiracy theory is, I do believe that RK is in a way that he's part of the play. I'm not saying he is the a guy who pushed the stock, right? What I'm trying to say is there's a people that might think I'm crazy, but I think it is crazy play, okay? And I do think that it is bigger than what we thought, bigger than what we think, in terms of maybe this is also part of the political play. Also, it could be part of as it is kind of a good and evil spiritual play. There's a lot of factors involved, but what I'm trying to say is, this is this is just my speculation. Nothing is true here. Based on what I'm looking at from 2021 and how things happened last year, I think they used Roaring Kitty, or maybe in a better way, maybe Roaring Kitty is some sort of a marketing kind of guy, right? From this Q group. Okay, Polty is doing his own thing as now he's director of finance. And he's also started to tackling down the U.S. federal, not U.S. federal, the U.S. Mortgage security market, right? He's like, oh, there's a fraud in the mortgage system in U.S., right? BBBY, for example, right? Like, there are a lot of people still waiting, and I know there's a shows out there. Hey, BBBY is dead. Nothing's gonna happen with BBBY. What's interesting thing is that this is some of the information I've been gathering for last 2-3 years. One of the main thing for me was the Ryan Cohen brought the law firms, right? There's 3 major law firms that represent Ryan Cohen, and those law firms are specialized in fraud. Okay, I'm trying to find out the documents here. I think this is one of them. So maybe I can bring the Ryan Cohen.get first, just to kind of show you which law firm represent Ryan Cohen. And this for me, there's a lot of dockets, and I know there's like some sort of other major dockets that are quite important, but for me, typically, like, especially for me, right, because the fact that when I look at BBUI as a bigger picture, but not only just kind of like some sort of a squeeze play or some sort of a teddy play. Beside that, I look at a bigger picture in terms of on the political side, right? So 2008, there's financial fraud from the one of the market maker, right? And then what's his name? I forgot. Yeah, anyway, so he did a Ponzi scheme, and he did a market making about 5% of the whole entire US market, but it was pyramid, right? Pyramid Ponzi scheme. And then he got caught, he went to jail, right? So now they're also working on more financial fraud. So when you take a look at this is one of the docket I think is very spoke to me, and it really stands out to me, is that June 2nd, 2023, there was a docket drop. As you can see, there's a bunch of other companies, but look at this Ryan Cohen, RC Ventures, but there's a law firm that represent RC that are Vinson and Elkins and Cliff Ford, and then there's also Tedrillo, Klein, and Boxers LLP. So those 2 firms represent Ryan Cohen, right? And when you take a look at the firm, This is the same company, Vincent and Elkins Clifford, and he did he what he does is he does the security litigation, and he also, oh, there you go, Bernie Madoff. So he successfully represent broker dealer against the fraud claim brought by SEC in Bernie Madoff scandal. So he's a big deal, I think. And as you can see, successfully represented some firm in a security class action, right? There's some SEC investigation. So Ryan Cohen basically brought some of the major law firm that represent Ryan Cohen into BBBY, okay? Into BBYQ. And these guys has successfully done a major job such as security fraud, financial fraud. Okay, so when I look at bigger picture, I'd be like, okay, there it's not just like let's say beside like squeeze play, they wanted to fucking catch these financial frauders, right? The fraudulent criminals basically. And I think everything kind of set it up that way. And recently, the other thing I was shocked by was Trump. Okay, Trump, he brought in the what was the other one? Yeah, Trump brought the a firm and sued the JP Morgan. JP Morgan was also was a big firm that, financial firm that made the BBYQ into bankruptcy, right? They they basically was the bank, and they made all the executives, former executives, to do a forced buyout, like the, what do you call that, the not the buyout but the forced share buyback, right? And then it has to approve by usually the board members, but they didn't go through the board members. They just fucking do a share buyback illegally, more than $1 billion and whatnot, and then crush the company, right? So there's a fraud, right? So now when you look at a bigger picture, the Pulte is working on mortgage fraud on the mortgage side. RC is working on the financial fraud in the company, and that also has connection to the big banks such as JP Morgan. And JP Morgan also, I think they did some settlement for Epstein, whatever, right? So there's a bigger, darker money laundering, all that crazy shit, stuff happening behind the scene. So yeah, I do think that they're going to expose the financial fraud. And then I think the last post I wanted to just kind of touch on is the there was this one. So this attorney basically he thinks that yes, they're JP Morgan was harming the Donald Trump media group, so they're doing investigation into JP Morgan. Everything seems very connected, and then recently from White House, as you see, as you guys know, there's power to the player tweets from White House. That's fucking crazy, right? And they repost the GameStop. So, and then that create a fractals. And I'm gonna go through the whole fractals again. I'm gonna go step by step. It's gonna be a little bit confusing to some of you, but you have to be a bit of a ADHD. You have to have a bit of a ADHD to focus on what I'm gonna talk about. I think I have a ADHD because I'm an artist. So as now you're looking at all the bigger pictures, what's going to happen. As also if you guys into cryptos, the altcoin season is going to come. Okay, the Bitcoin, all that crazy shit. Yeah, this is just flushed out before they're gonna run, right? I did also talk about it's gonna be a fucking we're gonna crash or whatnot, but as I took a look at it, what's going on, it looks like they're making a much more bigger a run up, and then they're just kind of making a huge giant bubble, and then they're gonna melt everything down. So they're about to run as well, Bitcoin. We are setting up very similar to 2020 August. As you can see, there's a pullback here, right? There's go up and pull back, go up, pull back. We were just kind of going through that phase. Same as this guy mentioned about crypto altcoin, right? The altcoin season is coming. Once altcoin, meme stock, meme coin, everything pump, and then it's gonna crash really hard, right? So after that, we're gonna get into the crash after this. So we still got a cycle here left. So let's start with this guy, right? So he talks about how GME moon next 2 weeks. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think so. For me, maybe I might be wrong, but this is a much more bigger fractal. This is like a daily, right? Yeah, this is daily chart. So yeah, he thinks we are here, but I took a look at it. And I mean, there's I don't know. I think there's certain parts that I feel like we might go slower than certain parts. And then this is only for GME. But when you I do realize, because I play options, right? So I play options and then as I'm playing options, I realize that sometimes some fractals run faster, sometimes some fractal runs slower, and then you also want to consider that I know GME could be the trigger, but you also want to track the other meme basket stocks such as AMC or FFAI might be another one, right? Because we saw a huge up squeeze when GME when the Roaring Kitty came back, right? So when I'm gonna show you also AMC FFAI just to compare where we at. And for me, my prediction is we're gonna see a run up from January OPEX, but that's not the squeeze part, right? We're gonna start a run. We're gonna start to getting, like I would say, we're gonna enter into a squeeze cycle next year, 2026 January OPEX. But from that point, we are heading into February OPEX and March OPEX. We're gonna see, I think, you got like a steady kind of like a slow squeeze, right? And by end of probably by end of March OPEX or April OPEX, I think that will be the first the run up, and then we're gonna have some pullback. So we're gonna see kind of go ups and down like this, right? So let's start with GME here. So maybe this might be easier. So I'm gonna start with this one. 1 second. I'm gonna start with 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna close all this stuff that I already talked about. So okay, so I'm gonna talk about. Sorry, I forgot to maybe bring my post here. So this is, yeah, so this, yeah, I'll start with this one since I already have it here. So like I said, I was gonna drop the GME AMC TA in December, but this guy makes me do it. It triggered me. So I'm gonna walk you guys through step by step, and you have to really I might be wrong, but you could be the judge. So I took a look at this. So this is 2024 last year. This is right now, okay, on the left side. You know what happened to this the White House tweet, right? When I saw that, everyone's very excited about it. Oh, we might see a squeeze or not, right? But I was waiting to see there's gonna be a drop, and it did actually drop, right? Because I was looking at this. I was already looking at this last month or a couple months ago that we might see, because the fact that I was expecting between 2000 are they gonna run like 2020? Are they gonna run like 2024 last year, right? And when I saw they start making certain patterns, like flashed out here, pop here, pull back here, I was like, okay, it looks like they're repeating same cycle as last year, okay? And then when I thought about, when you think about, like, okay, why Roaring Kitty comes back, right? And is there any significant things that he did he created gamma squeeze. But why he created gamma squeeze? I start with that question. And and then somebody asked, oh yeah, he's not the guy who makes this fractals. He did it on purpose. I mean, he just that's what happened. But I think there's a purpose to it. Like, I do remember in a docket, he has 3 other investors, right? He's using their fund, right? So basically, I think I gotta be careful saying this, but I think there's Roaring Kitty is some sort of a marketing, guy, but also there might be a people behind the scene, controlling the fractal. So I wanted to create a certain algo, right? And then Roaring Kitty is known as a retail investor / he's also an institution guy, right? So he know what he's doing. So I was always suspicious about him come back last year. Why he has to come back last year than a year before, or it could be this year? Why? I think he came back for a reason, and I always thought back on my mind that he came back for a reason. He came back to create a fractal that could repeat it again in the future, and which I think is going to repeat this time again, right? Because they're not using, I think, 2020 cycle at this time. Rather, it might be they might be using it after this run, but it seems like they're repeating this squeeze cycle. So when you take a look at this, I'm gonna show you the whole thing later on, but when you just look at the blue box here, you see the White House tweet here that was like pop, and it pull back down, right? It looks like that exactly happened here. This fractals, it pop, pull back down, and I think we're just kind of going through this yellow box, phase. And I do think we might see potentially could go down a little bit further, and it might touch maybe somewhere between $18. There's a gap here, but I'm not sure it will be filled. It doesn't have to be filled all the time. And also when you look at RSI, I think MACD doesn't really look similar, but RSI, it does look similar. It goes up, down, right? And this is the White House tweet. It goes up, and there's pullback, right? Look at this. This one goes up, pop, pullback. It looks exactly same. It matches perfectly. So, and now the RSI is down here, and it's slowly recovering. It's moving up. However, it's not going to run like that, right? It has to go through this phase, which is the yellow phase, this yellow bug phase. You have to go through it first before this run up. I'm gonna show you in a bit after this, but when you look, I know a lot of people already know about the triangle formation. When you connect all the line, it perfectly emerged somewhere here. But based on this fractals, and I set it up, yeah, it matches nicely here. And this is January OPEX. So from January OPEX, it goes up. There's a bit of a pullback, and this is entering of a squeeze. Basically, it's here. This is April, May, right, and squeeze. But we have to understand that. I know there's people out there who hold shares. I know there are people out there who play options, right? And me, typically, I also play options because I know how the options can be how do you say it? Yeah, it can be very lucrative, right? Like it gives you a lot of profits. So so in terms of if you're playing options, I think you have to be really, really cautious with which month you like to buy, right? We like to purchase, and I think, and that's why I became more sensitive about the time. And then I try to be careful with the week, like short term, like weeklies and stuff, because you can get destroyed really fast. Like for example, if you saw this guy's tweet, and of course this is not financial bias and predictions, but it looks very like appealing. I mean, it looks very promising that, oh yeah, the pattern looks same. The pattern looks like it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen very soon. But as I get burned so much, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you guys get burned quite a bit too, if there's any option traders out there. You get sensitive, and then for me, I have to make a decision. If I want to make money from options, I have to be really, really more careful. Or I mean, of course, I have to be cautious, but also I have to know when to buy, right? Because of the theta, like sometimes you buy, let's say here, but let's say the price go up and they had a pullback, and then because of the theta and also those kind of like price down, there's also your option price can be cheaper, right? You get discounted. So I think that as an option trader, I think it is extremely critical to understand the technical parts of it before you buy into the month, right? Like, because you'd be like, oh yeah, January call options is huge, it looks very appealing, it looks very cheap, oh yeah, let me buy. But it might get destroyed, right? Because when you look at this TA, you'd be like, oh, it might happen in maybe Gen OPEX, right? Because Gen OPEX has so much option chain, but it might be a trap, okay? It might happen, but based on my experience, they can drag this out a little bit, right? Because it can run faster. They can also drag the time, and then make it slow squeeze too, right? You never know. You never know, how they're gonna run it. But based on my experience, I think it's always safer to buy a long dated calls, right? So and based on and not only just tracking GME, I also wanted to track AMC and other meme basket stock just to make sure that the timeline is also kind of correct. You know what I mean, right? So this video it can be a little bit long. It can be a little bit difficult to understand for some of you who don't play options or who don't do TA. It can be very challenging, and sometimes some people don't understand what they're looking at. You have to be somewhat experienced or traders, or you have to be somewhat some ADHD, whatever, yeah. But you can learn from this one too, hopefully. So let's go back to now you understand what I'm looking at here, right? So this is we just saw GME part, and let's take a look at AMC, okay? Oh, actually, before I jump into the AMC, I want to show you one last thing. Why I believe that we are tracking this area. So okay, hold on, let me oh fuck, 1 second. I'm gonna just kind of maximize this one. So this is last year, right? After Roaring Kitty comes back, there's one more pullback. It pushes up in June a second time, pullback, another pop here, slightly pop early this year, and then pullback. This whole box happened very similar to here. I mean, this is just fractals, okay? But basically, what Roaring Kitty did was he came and then he created this fractals as like much more bigger amplified version here. So I'm gonna take out my brush. So basically, he comes here and create a giant a gamma squeeze here, and then it make this pullback, right? Fractally, it's gonna come back, and this is June, right? Fractally, it's supposed to go up, but it was much more amplified because of FTDs and pullback, right? And then there's a speed of algo is different here, but there's a lot of things happen. Japanese carry trade and stuff. Those things happen here, and then goes up and pullback, right? And then the other part, and then people might wonder like, oh, but like why the time is different? Why this is longer and why this is shorter? Why this is longer? Why this short? That's what I meant by the speed. I found that was something I have to realize. There's a certain patterns look similar, like the triple top like this, but certain times the market maker, they drag things out in a certain area, depends on the circumstances, right? So that's something you have to understand. And then as a trader, you have to capture these things, right? That's your jobs to figure out. And then another critical thing I wanted to point out is that there's always a tracement. I think there's always a trace that market maker left, and I think you as a trader or you as an investor, wanted to also figure that out. Is this type of a footprint? I don't know what is. I'm pretty sure there's a word for it, but I'll say just like a footprint, right? Like there's some sort of a trace. And this is one of the thing I think for a good example. So as you can see, this is 2023 Jan, March, April, May, and June and August. This is 2023 August, and they're repeating the same fractals here. Okay, but some fractals are amplified due to certain things, maybe swap cycles and whatever, maybe there's a gamma squeeze or rolling kitty comeback, all these other events happening around this time when the fractally algo has to when the fractally has to go out, right? And I think they're just aiming for that kind of stuff. Now we are heading into an altcoin season. We're heading into a meme squeeze. We're heading into the short squeeze season cycles. So this time they're gonna use. I think they're gonna play out the same fractals, but it's gonna be more amplified and bigger, in my opinion. And one of the footprints, one of the trace I found is that when they're dragging out after a triple top, this part, I found same pattern here. You see how this is a first, second, third top, first, second, third top here. Yeah, right. This is the third top. I'm gonna draw a whole box here. Oh my god, this stupid box. I'm wondering if there's I'll have to fix this one later on. All right, so pay attention to this one. This MACD. This is the third top. Okay. So when you look at just the third top, from the top to bottom, right? Top to bottom. Okay, you see, I'm gonna drop this arrow. So this is a top. This is a top. Okay. Here. Okay. This is a third top, right? First top, second top, first top, second top, third top, first, second, third top. From the third top to the bottom, MACD was here. From the third top to the bottom, MACD was here, right? Perfectly set it up this way. And now what happened? This is a trace, the footprints. It pushes back up again, alright? It pushes back up again. Exactly same. So this is like kind of like what do you call that? Like there's a specific word for it, but I forgot. Like there's like it's like a fucking like it's like a hook. What is the word for this kind of stuff? It gives you a tracement. It gives you a whole fractals and tracement, but this is like a spot where like this is a good like indication of like okay, this is where we at. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I'm pretty sure there's a word for it, but I just forgot what is a good word for it. Like when you have a boat, when you have a giant like a Titanic type of size ship, right? They have this kind of like the metal shit, they goes under the bottom, like the ocean, right? To stop, right? To pause, those kind of stuff. That's kind of thing that I'm kind of talking about. Like it's like there's a footprint, there's like something that pause, like it gives you an indication, like this is where we at, and that's the spot. Okay, it comes from the first, second, third top. From the first, second, third top goes to the bottom, and then they pushes up here, same fractal, right? This is 2023 2025 right now, February, and then it pushed down again, right? It pushed back down again, all the way down. And then, and why I'm talking about this, because this is important. Same thing's gonna happen to AMC. I'm gonna explain after this. It's happening to GME. Okay, this is like a good spot, and you need to, I think, sometimes recognize this spot, and I think it could be used for where you at, and then I think it is also very useful to read the speed of the algo. You know what I mean? Okay. So now what's next? The next part is this fractal, which is go up and down like this and hit here. It goes up and down 3 times. Also after this, like a knot or something, I don't know what it's called, but after this it goes up and down 3 times, right? MACD wise, 1 2 3, right? It goes 1 2 3, right? 3 top again, triple top, and pushed back down, right? There's a flushed out, right? It's like crazy flushed out, push back down, go sideways. But as you can see from this green box, it's making a nice triangle formation here, as you can see. And what happened? It popped back up again, right? It popped back at same time as what you see here. Now we are heading into March 2024. March 2024. This is March 2024. This is September 2025. We are heading into a similar spot now. I'm just kind of slowly walking through where we are heading to, and when we're gonna be at, this stage. Okay, and then what happened after that? You see this, now we are in the blue box. After this phase, we saw some sort of a pop. For some reason, I think this pop was created because of the earning, and that was March 26, right? After the earning, there was a pop and then flushed out. Same thing happened here. In order to create a fractals, White House GameStop tweet. And I know some people don't believe this kind of stuff. Why the fuck do you use White House tweet as some sort of a like this? But there's always, like I said, there's always purpose to it. And White House helped GameStop to go up to create this fractal. I know it sounds a little crazy, and it sounds like I'm a conspiracy theorist or something like that, but based on somebody who read the chart, who understand the chart, it doesn't make sense unless they know what the fuck what they're making. They're making a same pattern here. They're making a same fractal here. You understand? You follow me? Believe or not, they're helping GameStop fractal right now. So after White House tweet, what happened? A sudden pop and flushed out. Sudden pop, flushed out. It's making a same pattern again. So now when you take a look at this, now we are almost pretty much done here. So after this flushed out, what happened? Now we went up a little bit, but we are still not there yet. We are very close, but we will be in the bottom phase, I think, around after December OPEX. I might be wrong, but based on this fractals, we are not the bottom yet. We are getting close, but I think bottom will be there around $18.80 or $19. And I think the Roaring Kitty, the tweet, this Time magazine, right? There was a 19 here. Okay, let me zoom this one out. You see there's a 1 and 9. This is 19, right? It's close to 19 because I'm seeing $18.78. So when I see that, that's the bottom, right? So, and that, I think that will happen around December 26th or 22nd, something like that. So if that happened, you know what's gonna happen. Now, as you know, how do you create a huge lineup? When you could line this up, it's lined up perfectly in Gen OPEX. So this is so I think, in my opinion, if they run the speed of fractals, and we still gotta go through this kind of fractals in my opinion, but it's gonna pop here in January. This is January, pull back, same as this one, There's going to pop, pull back, right? The bottom's moving up, and boom. This is March, February OPEX, and then pull back, same as this phase, and then March OPEX. So I think it's gonna go through like not only just like 1 month just gonna fucking like just squeeze. I think it's gonna be a more slow squeeze. Like it's gonna go through like a January OPEX. Like they have to like stack it up, right, to run this thing. Like so Jan OPEX, Feb OPEX, March OPEX, and boom. Okay, so I'm based on this fractals and the size, the GameStop will hit something about 100 to $80. And I think at least we have to retest this area 65 or $70, because they have to in order to break this thing, because they have to retest this thing, pull back, retest one more, pull back, kind of thing, and then break the last high. That's more technical aspects of it. So we have to retest or break it and pull back, kind of thing. We might have to do that. So and then from now on, we're not gonna go down. We're gonna go up now instead, and that's when the 2020 cycle comes in. And I don't know if I should talk about this one, but I just want to give you a bigger picture. So people might wonder what's going to happen to this after this, and I think then this 2020 cycle comes in my opinion, right? So this is 2020, right? So it goes up, down, and then it starts to kick off the bull run here. So that's when Ryan Cohen comes in, right? So if we see this type of pattern here happening, I'm expecting to see this type of cycle comes in, right? Like it's gonna make a giant higher low, like this, right? So let me spread this one out. So whatever happened in March, OPEX, whatever, they're gonna create a big run, like big pop like that. Of course, come back because GameStop, AMC, whatever, the meme stock has those huge volatility anyway. We are used to it. So I'm just giving you a quick examples here, right? Like I'm just I don't know how much I should stretch it out, but yeah. So maybe this might be the first pop, right? Like come and then pull back, and then rather than kind of come down here, maybe it'll have a nice steady the bottom around this phase, maybe and then go up again, so it's gonna start to making a higher low, much more bigger, much more this way, right? Rather than kind of going sideways or whatever, it's gonna going up or upper, and then create a giant short squeeze here. So that's just my prediction, okay? Not financial advice. You never know what's gonna happen, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So but for now, in my opinion, I think squeeze is not going to happen December or January OPEX. I think it's going to be more likely Q1, like March, or somewhere between March or April. And I want to also provide another example with AMC and FFAI, why I think the squeeze in GME or AMC, it's not going to happen in upcoming 2 weeks or December. I don't want to it's not like I don't want to it's not like me trying to ruin the party, but I just want to, because there's option trader out there. I know there's a lot of option trader out there, and I just wanted to let them know, or maybe if there are people who are thinking about getting options or something, because it is their money. Of course, they're going to play their own money, but you want to know what's going to happen, right? If the options expire, your money will be gone. It's not like shares, right? So let's take a look at FFAI, and it's not like me, ruining a party for just kind of sake of, oh yeah, fuck this, oh I hate you kind of thing. I'm providing actual, like a TA, I'm actually providing a data or some sort of of course it's all speculated, but you know what I mean, yeah. And you're gonna see, oh yeah, actually this makes sense, because it actually lines up, with March. So let's take a look at this one. This is, by the way, FFAI, and people might wonder why the fuck you were looking at FFAI. And then for those of you who didn't see what happened last year, when RK come back, FFAI went up about almost 8,000%. Right? So I'm like, what the fuck is FFAI? I didn't even think about FFAI, and I was like, okay. I instantly thought, okay, FFAI might be a stock that got into the meme stock. Right? I mean, not a meme stock, but like meme basket stock, like a basket stock, right? Maybe the market maker decided to put the FFAI as some sort of a liquidity pump, or I don't know. So, but I just use that as a base, right? I just use that as some sort of a guideline, when it might pop, right? Because if you track with only one stock like GME, you might feel like, oh, maybe it could happen faster. You could have a lot of high hopes. But I think it is important to kind of see others, basket stock, to understand when this stock is gonna pump. Oh, why this stock is gonna pump, earlier, or you could actually like see all the things and analyze all together. It's like, oh, it looks like everything, all the basket stock seems like it's gonna pump around this time, and then that will be the good evidence, right? So when you took a look at FFAI, it run itself in December. And also I thought about why, because I'm always curious guy, right? It ran about almost 200%, and it has a pullback till now. And there's a lot of things happen, goes up and down, but this is, by the way, December, right? And I'm always suspicious about things that if something happened, there's a reason for it, right? I always thought about it, and the reason for it is because the market maker tests this one, okay? In my opinion, right? Just follow me with me. I think they test it for certain things because they're gonna use it for the future, right? I don't think like for me, when I look at the stock the tickers, and every stock has, I think it has its own personality. Okay, like how human being has a personality. I mean, but I mean, stock itself has a characteristic. I think it would be much better to say that way. And then they have their own like AMC has its own squeeze phase, like a squeeze of a style fractal, FFAI has its own, like it just pump like straight up, and GameStop, it kind of builds up first, right? Like there's different pattern here, and that's what I want to show you today. So when you take a look at this is last year December, and I based on my opinion, I think market maker wanted to test this. Like if you think if you think you're a market maker, you want to test something before something break, right? And I think that's what happened last year. They run it to test something, and I always, back on my mind, I know they're gonna run this thing probably similarly in some way. So I've been tracking this with this one, and it looks like they do, right? So I want to show you now. This is FFAI. What happened here is they do go up and down 3 times here exactly. They did also go up and down 3 times exactly here. I'm gonna open up the RSI. So now this is to December when the market maker tests its fractals. This one they ran it for 26%, whereas this one they ran it for 200%, which means that about 10 times it's going to be bigger than December squeeze when the squeeze hits, next squeeze cycle hits. Now there's FFAI has a pullback here, which what happened here as well, December 18, right? But you might say, oh, but this was faster. It only took 21 days. How come it's taking longer? Because they're gonna run 2,000% rather than 200%. So think about that. How much liquidity they need? They need more liquidity, right? So now we are here. So let me just get this one out here. Where's my fucking ribbon here? Where's my 200 moving averages? Oh shit. It's weird. Anyway, I think I lost my 200 moving averages. I don't know why it's not here. Let me refresh. Sorry. Save and reload. Okay. Okay, whatever. Yeah. So let's go back. Yeah. Where's December? So now we are here, and I want to show you why. So this is RSI, right? So they tested here. This is now same, I think in the spot. It comes up 1, 2, 3, triple top, go 1, 2, 3, triple top, pull back down, and we saw this pattern where like hit here. Now you saw this pattern, like I just kind of made a circle here, like a box. When after hit the bottom, it goes up and hit a double bottom here, right? Is this setup? This part, it created a double bottom, right? And this fractals was here as well. Yeah, here. So we're not there yet until the squeeze, right? We're not there yet until actual like the fucking squeeze cycle, right? I mean we can be excited about this, but yeah, like when you look at GME, I think it has to squeeze together. You know, like I mean you could say like yeah, like GME can run itself, but I think they're gonna suppress with AMC or FFAI again, right? I think it has to run together, right? It based on my experience, okay? Because I know some of you who are already like been in this for a long time, and they'll probably understand that there's always a cycle, there's always a time, and it can just run itself. And when it runs itself, maybe that was the time for the squeeze, and maybe the accumulation is done. And when it run, it'll pop together, right? Like when you look at AMC back in last year too, it popped together. And they didn't. But why couldn't they use AMC to suppress the stock, right? And then they can. They just pop. And my question is, okay, so for this time, the squeeze is going to happen, and it's going to be much bigger squeeze. But yeah, how when it's gonna be? That's all the question. People ask about that, and I think squeeze is not gonna happen December. Squeeze is not gonna happen January, but it's gonna happen next year, early next year in Q1, right? Between March, April. Okay, in my opinion, it might be dragged out, but I think that's kind of the timeline I'm looking at. So the next part I want to see is that from FFAI is that I want to see this part. I need to know. So I saw this now, right? Triple top, bottom. Now there's a double bottom. We saw this triple top, and then bottom. We saw double bottom here. So now we need to see this fractals, and we need to see this fractals. It just pushes up for some reason and pull back down. Once I see this pattern, and we are entering a squeeze cycle. And also, FFAI shows that this is February 25th, and that the final big candle here also show up on March 12th, March 11th, which is March OPEX. So it actually line up here, right? It line up perfectly with GME, right? GME also possibly bottom out in December 22nd, and create a double bottom like this. Where is it? 2024. Yeah, this is 2024. So same as here, double bottom happened here between, but it depends on this algo. But let's say this is the speed of algo. So from end of December to Gen OPEX, or before Gen OPEX, maybe they run like this, and then maybe this might be the after January OPEX, or during the Gen OPEX, right? Start with this, and then push this up, right? It's gonna create a bigger run, but it's gonna take time, right? They need liquidity, right? So there's a reason for it, and I think somewhere between here to here, something happened. Like we are still waiting for, like the BBYQ shareholders are still waiting for the announcement. It hasn't happened, throughout the whole, year, and a lot of people and shows say oh, is it done? Is it over? I don't think it's over. They're just waiting for this type timing, right? And I'm a firm believer that it's all about the timing, right? It's all about the timing. It's about the I think already, there are already smart people, or there are people who already been in this for a long time, understand there's the macro reason, and yeah, like you know what I mean. So yeah, I think it's gonna be March OPEX in my opinion, and that's also seen in FFAI as well. And let's take a look at AMC as one last one. When BBYQ 401J. I don't know, man. I hope I'll say like soon is better. When BBY, like, because when you think about it, like if BBY comes back, what's gonna happen to the basket stock? I think that's the first question I ask, right? And then the second question is, will BBY help the catalyst, right? Like the squeeze. So if so the first question is, if BBY comes back and create a catalyst to push the meme basket stock, like break the stock, I think I don't know, like fuck. So if BBYQ, let's say, if we only get the cash payout, it will be just announcement, right? So would that be just kind of used as a kick off the run, right? So if that's the case, then it will be here, maybe around here, January. But if BBYQ new equity comes out, and then let's say BBYQ equity new equity comes out, and then let's say it will go together with basket stock, I think it should come out between December to Jan OPEX, right? Let's say BBYQ comes here, and then let's say usually like it's gonna take at least 2 to 3 weeks to come out, like as a to hit the broker account, right? Because it can't just come out like within a week or so. I think it might take at least 2 to 3 weeks. So let's say announcement has to come out. So which means that announcement has to come out 1 month before, for example, because I'm only based on Hertz. So Hertz did that. Hertz they announced the Chapter 11 exit. Before Chapter 11 exit, they announced the distribution plan for the shareholders 1 month before Chapter 11 exit. So I guess they can do whenever they want. But when they look at this as a cycle, and we, based on this, it looks like by March OPEX is gonna be the squeeze phase for both the whole, the basket stock. If they want to run it with BBY should come out somewhere here, I guess, right? Maybe somewhere between, December to February, right? And then let's say BBY comes out, new equity comes out, break the basket, create a gamma squeeze, right? So I'm hoping to see BBY comes out around February OPEX before maybe. So maybe announcement happen here 1 month later. Let's say BBYQ comes back. BBYQ announcement happen maybe in Jan OPEX, push the stock up a little bit, pull back, and then the new equity start trading back again around Feb OPEX, break the basket, and then it will create a huge gamma ramp, right? The option traders and institution will pile in, and then boom, they just create a gamma squeeze, right? So I was actually debating whether BBY should come out in because there's 3 phases, right? When you look at the squeeze phase, right? So this is the first phase, right? After this whole thing, before heading to squeeze, I divided into 3 different parts, right? So first phase, second, and third is the final squeeze phase. So I was debating like, okay, if BBYQ comes out as a catalyst, will BBY should come in this third squeeze phase, or it should come, this phase. And I don't know. Like, I guess it would, we'll see. It depends on it, but I think it makes sense to come out somewhere here, right? Somewhere between this one or two, because they can't fly these things with gamma squeeze, right? Because imagine if BYQ comes back, new equity start trading, like there are people who will like pile in, right? Like I was like, oh shit, BY's come back, oh yeah, and it will create a it's gonna break the basket with this cycle. So it's gonna squeeze no matter what. But that's why I think they're looking for the right timing, right? Because if I were to be Ryan Cohen, like, I'll be really cautious about the timing because you don't want to fuck things up. So I'll say, to answer your question, I don't know, right? Because I'm not insider, but based on this the fractal that I'm tracking in GME and FFAI AMC, it does line up that the final squeeze is gonna be March OPEX around that time. So I'm hoping to see somewhere between January and March. Okay. So hope that answered your question. Let's fucking go. Yeah, thanks, man. 1,400 people are watching. I don't know if those are real or fake. There's so many AI shit going on. But thanks for watching. Let's go to the final one, AMC. So I just talk about how, if you just tune in, you can rewatch this one later. I already kind of go through whole, what's my view on GME, when it's gonna squeeze, and where we at, what are they using. I already kind of all covered that, so you can go back to check it out. I also don't just talk about GME. I also wanted to talk. I already show FFAI, for example, because it will squeeze together. I don't think it's gonna run to itself, but it's gonna squeeze together. And I also track FFAI AMC to make sure it line up the GameStop squeeze, right? Because let's say, because I burn a lot of times that I only track GME and then I play options and I got burned, and then I realized that AMC wasn't ready for a squeeze yet, right? Something like that. So then I realized, okay, I have to track all the major basket stock, not only just one stock, right? In order to understand when will be the next squeeze cycle. So for final one is AMC, guys. I already talked about this one already. So I'm not gonna repeat the whole thing again because this is gonna be a waste of time for some people. But it's just to quick wrap up. There's bear cycle, and I saw there's one guy. Let me pull this guy one out. I'm not trying to pinpoint anybody here, but I just want to bring this one to help people understand, just my view, my understanding. Where's this guy here? I think I replied to some of his comments. Let me just bring this one. I think this will be the good example, because let me see. I think this one was. I think I posted from here. Oh yeah, maybe this one. So I think there's some people who talks about the fractals, and I do like certain things. Yeah. So this guy said there's usually January patterns, whatever, but okay, let me show you this as an example. I mean, he did his own way. I'm not saying like this guy's wrong or whatever, bad, whatever, but I'm pretty sure like he or she did whatever he look at and then make his analysis on whatever, but I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying that he looked at this as a spring, summer, fall kind of thing, right? And I think he kind of analyzed it based on the weather, right? Like based on the season, I guess, right? So like at this, maybe this is like, spring season or summer season. Okay, this is certain fractals, and it does look, similar. But I also wanted to kind of point out that, so he's saying like spring is the squeeze, maybe, but this is not even squeeze. You know what I mean? Like this is maybe a small short-term rally, right? But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, maybe this is a pattern. I think maybe you figured out. But I do think that in a bigger picture, we're gonna see, and by the way, this is not a spring, man. This is June. June is fucking summer, so it's wrong. So this is the things that I think you have to be careful with. Like sometimes you change things. You change things because you want to make it. I don't know. You want to try to make it. On your way to make sense. I don't know. But anyways, this is not spring. This is summer. This is happened June. This is January. This is spring. So typically it looks like, yeah, like in the spring phase there's something. I mean, May is not even squeeze like spring, man. This has happened May. So you see, like you're making shit up, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, like, you cannot look at this as a seasonal stuff, like spring, this what happened here, and this is all wrong anyway. What I'm trying to say is, like, you have to look at it in a much more bigger picture than that, right? Because of the speed of algo, because there's a cycle, right? What I'm trying to say is, like, there's a bear cycle, right? There's a 3-4 years of bear cycle. This is bear cycle. So you look at it as a whole, right? That's how I look at it. Like, are we in bear cycle? Are we in bull cycle? By the way, this should be bull cycle, so sorry about that. So this is a bear cycle. Look at this pattern. It's the same, pattern. Like, there's a flushed out. There's a flushed out. Ape conversion. That was a flushed out. And after that, this is we went through this purple box, which is accumulation, but it's much more stretched out than this, right? And now we are heading into a bull cycle, like this one. Okay, so I look at it as a cycle rather than season, right? Because when you look at this partially, it won't make sense in here, in the same season, right? So when you look at a cycle in a bigger picture, you kind of understand where we at, right? So okay, we are in a accumulation phase. We are in the right at the end of accumulation phase. We're about to enter the bull run, kind of thing. The cycle is gonna be changed. I mean, the cycle will change and the fractal will change, right? So now we went through bear cycle, accumulation. We are at the end of accumulation, and we are actually at the end of we are kind of going through the 2020 November, December. And keep in mind that back in the day, the Fed prints a lot of money, so there's a lot of liquidity in the market floating around and pushing stock, just crazy, up and down. But now we are in a different market, but we are still heading into a bull cycle. But how are they gonna run it? They just need more time because low liquidity environment. And there's a reason why you saw a news Fed prints like a $1 trillion. And they're gonna inject into the market, and also China also prints about 5 trillion or 16 trillion dollars into the market. So now the country is like pumping liquidity, and there's a reason for it because they're making a synthetic, not a synthetic. I mean, it could be synthetic, but yeah, they're basically like make a fake pump. Fake liquidity, maybe, like some sort of, they just just forcefully injecting liquidity to pump it. Okay. So now you understand bigger picture. We are at the end of accumulation phase. We're gonna enter a bull run. So now you took a look at this. This is by the way 2020 on the right side. This is on the left is right now. So I'll just put this one as 2020. So this is at the end of the bear cycle, flushed out. That's COVID era. This is ape conversion, area, flushed out, right? There's reason for it. They just, use same fractals, but just taking a little longer. Pop is supposed to pop here, but Roaring Key comes back, create a giant wedge. And it doesn't look like a wedge, but when you follow the pattern, because the fact that this would pop harder, it was supposed to be like, let's say if this pop here, like what Roaring Kitty comes back here and then create a run, squeeze, basically it looks like this, right? And then it's making a wedge like this. You understand? So that's kind of what happened here. Now we are, if I walk you through this, pop, pull down, they do this kind of first. A hill here and pushes up. There's a dilution happen, push down, right? That's what create this. And like I said in GME, AMC also has some sort of a knot, like a footprint, which is this area, and I wanted to point this one out. I know today's a lot, but I think this is something that I thought I should do it because for the community. There are a lot of people are waiting and when it's gonna squeeze and why AMCs keep going down and shit like that. So I know I was gonna do this one, and I think it's time for me to drop this thing. So hope you guys kind of bear with me. So this is 2020 here, 2025, right? So this is blue box here, happened here. So if I drop the box, this is blue box. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna use this one. This is yellow box. This is blue box. So from here to here is the blue box. You got it? Let's see. Yeah, you see now? Yeah, there you go. So from here to here is blue box, a fractal, and this is purple box. Alright, so this is blue box here, fractal, pushes up, pull back. This is purple box. And I wanted to talk about this one. This is extremely important. This is a good indicator. Like I said, about from GME side, when I talk about GME, this is like a good indication. Like this is like the knot, right? This is like the shipping, not the shipping rack, but like what do you call that? Like I forgot the word for it. Fuck. This is like a indication where you at, and this helps a lot where we at. After this, in making this pattern, which is this one, the final 3 triple top. I'll change this color, probably just maybe red. Yeah, I try to make it separate. Try to make it different color. I'll just maybe keep it yellow, easy to look at, right? And same as here. I know there are people who does TA, and maybe there's maybe some people look at this way or maybe look at different way, but yeah, this is just my speculation, guys. It's up to you to do your own TA, do your own research, and but I'm just sharing what I'm seeing, and I thought it's now it's time for me to share this. So now you see blue box here, purple box, yellow box, blue box, purple box, yellow box, triple tops. We're now going through triple top. So now you see what I'm looking at here. So let's dig into this one. The reason why I said this part is very important is because this is the final indication of where it's going and where we at, and I want to show you now. Let's take. I think I should take a look at this in maybe daily or 2 days. No, daily is better maybe. Let's see. Yeah. So this purple box go up, go down, right? You just look at this fractally. So this was supposed to go down, and they did a dilution here, push back the stock. The important thing you want to look at, take a look at this, is that it hit the bottom, and this pink box here, as you can see, this created this fractal. This fractal, it's the same. This is the final, the bottoming phase here, right? So this fractals and this fractals, it matches, right? Why is so significant? Because this is the indication of where AMC is at. This can with this you can track where we at, kind of thing. It helps you with the tool. So now when you look at this is, by the way, 12 hours. So I might need to bring this to more short term, because the fractal algo was faster, so I have to look at it much more shorter time frame. Whereas now it's the algo is taking way longer, so I have to look at it daily, like a longer time conversion, right? So now when you look at this, so look at this pink box. So this pink box was here, right? And this is also supposed to be pink. Okay, so this pink box here. So this pink box is here as well. This is extremely important, guys. Extremely important. Like, you'd be like, what? Why the fuck he's talking about this kind of shit? Just tell me when the fucking squeeze happened. But this is very important, I think, for you guys to understand. Even if like you're not going to do like, you don't follow the whole thing, but I think maybe it might help some people down the road. Like, oh, actually, like, yeah, like now I understand what this guy is saying. Maybe in the future, who knows? So this is very important, extremely important. This is gonna be my final TA, last TA for today. So why this is so significantly important, this thing? Because this is used as an indicator, as where you at. So this is the second pullback. They create a pop, the MACD come down here, push the stock up, come down. But important thing you want to notice is that this thing is moving up the line, right? Although the stock price go down, the MACD goes up. Same thing happened here. I notice the MACD, the stock goes down, pushes up, and the price go down. The MACD is moving up. It's like a inverse, and you know what that is? I forgot what that is, but it is what it is. But same thing happening here. The RSI was oversold here, right? But it pushed the stock up. So price-wise, pushed the stock up, but pushed back the stock again. But RSI is moving up. This is something called, but I forgot. It's like inverse, but but people might wonder, is this good thing or bad thing? It is good thing. It is part, I think, part of the accumulation. They're accumulating. Somebody's accumulating, right? Somebody's making a move, but they're pushing the stock up in a way. I don't know, like they're just spoofing or something like that. It's like so complicated, the market, right? But as soon as I found this one, I was like, okay, I know where AMC is at, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until this thing whole flushed out happen, right? And it's happening, right? So I'm gonna show you step by step now. So now this is a good indicator to help you understand where it is. Now the first top happened here, right? The first top happened, the second top happened. Now pull back, and we saw a third top happen and push the stock down, right? More than here, which will happen here some way. So but when I look at RSI and MACD for a second here, I still think that they're possible a little bit more down, like maybe a little bit more downside, maybe with AMC. I might be wrong, but you can be the judge. So I bring this fractals just partially because now their moving speed like so fast in a way, like certain part, so slow certain parts. Like so, I have to need this partial fractal. So I brought the partial fractal from the third top to the squeeze cycle, right? And when you look at this RSI and the MACD, as you can see from the indication that I could use this here. Now the MACD goes up. It pushed the stock up in the first, the first top. Same thing happened here. This is the first top, right? I'm just gonna drop the arrow. So this is the first top. This is the first top. The second top. Second top. Third top here. So you see how things are like, it's like moving down, right? It goes down here, right? The first, second top, right? Third top. The first, second, third top is like, it's going down like that too. Exactly, right? You see how this thing helps to you understand where the stock is at and creating a final third top. It's so like, it looks like it's very different, like but as you kind of like break into like small pieces here and there, or bigger picks and bigger puzzles, and and seeing like small puzzles here and there, actually like they're using the same fractals, but they sometimes use, like, let's say they create a bigger pump in first fractal, maybe small one in the second one and third one, like that. Like they could that could actually use the different size of the size of it, but in terms of the like in terms of the length, like how much you'll go, like you can't really see it, but the pattern is same. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's look at RSI here. It's the same thing. After I mentioned about this thing here, the pink indicator, as I use this as an indicator, same thing. It hit the bottom, it moving up, hit the bottom, moving up. RSI is here, up here. RSI goes up, move up here from the bottom, bottom up here. Push the first top, pull back. Push the second top, pull back. Push the third top, now here. 1, 2, 3. It's the same thing. You see what I mean? Now we are at so where are we at? So after they went through this, they hit the bottom here. However, the price, in terms of the price, is not the bottom yet, which means that we might see a more bottom here, up to $1.70 possibly. Okay, and I think that might be the bottom around January OPEX, maybe, or maybe this end of December. But I just, from what I'm seeing here, if I take a look at closely, let me just kind of because there's a certain parts they run so slow, and suddenly they run faster recently. Because you see how this is like so rapid, like just the incline, the steepness. Like look at this, the steepness is also very rapid, but it's like much more faster here. So I gotta figure that out. But we saw a pop here, so which means that I think maybe the pop is here. Maybe this is the pop. Who knows? But based on this is the pop. You see, there's a first pop here. It's now slowly trying to moving up, and I think we might be here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta still track this thing, but I don't think it's still. We might see a still. Yeah, we might still go down, in my opinion. But what if this is the bottom here, right? Let's say if this is the RSI is low here. RSI low was here, the first low, which is about this one. So if that's the case, then we might be somewhere here. So we might go down until December OPEX. So yeah, I want to give it about a couple weeks just to kind of see how it plays out. And then comes up, right? So Gen OPEX, push up and then pull back, right? So making a higher low, this first staircases, right? Yeah, this part. So making higher low. Let me bring the box here. Where's box? Yeah, this one. So yeah, before squeeze, I think they're gonna use. I think there's a reason why GameStop is run like last year, because the way the GameStop run last year was same pattern as AMC, and right now we are heading into a same AMC Gen squeeze cycle. So go up, pull back, right? Same thing. This is what Roaring Kitty comes back and make this fractal, right? Go up, pull back, right? It's the same pattern they're making. And then they're gonna repeat this thing all together. GME AMC. So this pattern is here. We're gonna see this pattern in here. Yeah, so we're gonna see this pattern, Gen OPEX, and then this is Fed OPEX, slowly pushing up, March OPEX, and run, right? So. And then the top will be, I don't know, I think it will be amplified, right? So I can't really tell. It might, there's a gap at let me just bring the gap here, partial gap. So there's a gap here at $20. So to be accurate, it will be somewhere between $17 to $19, but I'll just call it 20. And then there's also gap here at 40. So we might touch this gap, so we'll see. But you now understand what I mean by how track not only GME, I track FFAI and then track AMC and squeeze. We're very getting close to squeeze, but there still needs to be some sort of a bottoming phase before heading into the entering the squeeze cycle. and then even squeeze cycle, they, you know, it might, I mean, I don't, who knows how fast it's gonna be, but we might see go through like Jan, Feb, March OPEX to see a slow squeeze. So that's just kind of my opinion. So hope that helps. You know, I might be wrong again, right? Not financial advice, but I just wanted to kind of, this guy was good trigger for me to, you know, just to kind of add my opinion on top of it, because, you know, when you just look at it, it excites you, it makes you, you know, feel like, oh yeah, I want to fucking get into call options again, and fucking January call options, and you might get burned, okay? And I just want to warn people out there that don't just jump on this because you see a similar fractals in daily. You have to look into much more tighter, like I show you today, and just to look at the indicator, where we at, how long it's gonna delay. The market maker can delay certain parts, and they can, you know, trick you. Okay, so, and also the other parts I want to mention is to look at other basket stock as well. Even though if you're a trader, I'm pretty sure you do it. But not only GME, you look at AMC, you look at how FFA, when FFAI is gonna blow up. You know, when you track all that, then you kind of get more information, you know, in your head, right? Like, okay, you know, it's not gonna squeeze, it seems like right away, but it might squeeze a little bit maybe in March or an area, right? So there's you know, so it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt to look at other, you know, basket stock, you know, when it's, you know when it's gonna squeeze, right? So so that's pretty much it, guys. My voice is slowly cracking up, so I gotta take a little break, but I really wanted to share this with you in December, but here I am, and yeah, thanks for tuning in, and then I'm gonna see you next time. Thank you.